Chapter 5, Evaluating Art. Explain how the evaluation of an artwork can change over time and across cultures. Compare formal, contextual, and expressive approaches used in art criticism. Describe the relationship between cash value and artistic quality. Demonstrate an understanding of the factual, analytical, and evaluative steps required when writing about an artwork. Explain censorship as a type of evaluation based on religious, moral, or political values. Introduction. How do we tell whether a work of art is good? There are many ways of judging the quality of art. For evaluation, selecting one thing over another includes a creative process, appreciating the specialness of something. Quality is relative between people and cultures. Simply skillful versus communication of a life breath in Chinese culture. Changing reputations in Europe. Regarding Impressionist painting, the drastic shift from negative contemporary responses to their high value in today's society demonstrates that evaluations can change over time and across cultures. Value judgments are necessarily, they involve subjectivity. We have Shy Glance by Jing Ghanaian, which it was recovered from a trash bin, and it's lacking in skill and is embarrassingly sweet, but it is sincere. And then on the right we have the Self-Portrait by Elizabeth Vigée Lebrun. She has great assuredness of anatomy, and it may seem conventional to the contemporary eye. Ghanaian and Vigée Lebrun. What we might find in a work depends on what we're looking for. Personal value judgments involves a viewer's personality. It begins with an open mind to go beyond snap judgments, and you have to practice seeing rather than looking. It is making discriminating judgments, both favorable and unfavorable. There are three basic theories. Formal theories focus on composition and influence. Contextual theories is a product of culture and value system. Expressive theories are an expression of a personality or a worldview. Formal theories of art criticism is looking at how a work is made. Parts of a composition come together for a visual experience. Organization is the most important factor. It values innovation and style above all. There's a comparison to a work's contemporaries. Formal theories, we have Titian's Pietà on the left with innovative brushwork. It's understood the predecessor's methods made his brushwork more painterly. He has a bold, new compositional device with an empty center. And then we have on the right, Delaunay Turk, Simultaneous Contrasts, was influenced by Cubism, but without overlapping planes. Titian's Pietà, Delaunay Turk. Formal theories is a method of art criticism that values stylistic innovation over personal expression or cultural communication. We have Jean-Michel Basquiat's horn players. The techniques that he's displaying is learned from graffiti. His three panels that avoid making the work seem like separate paintings. It may look improvised, but the result is from discipline. Contextual theories is a method of art criticism that focuses on the cultural systems behind the works of art. These may be economic, racial, political, or social. It first examines environmental influences on a work of art. Economic system, cultural values, politics. What else was going on at the time the artwork was made? Contextual theories in regards to the Pietà on the left, the altarpiece. It's an altarpiece for public viewing in a chapel. And it was created during a time of epidemic of plague. And it displays mortality and grief. On the right, We have the simultaneous contrast. The contextual theory would be that it seems to be a sunlit landscape. The optical theory at the time was that artists studied, well, they studied at the time, explains how one color can affect how we see a neighboring color. With contextual theories, critics examine the environmental influences on a work of art, such as economic system, cultural values, and politics. We have Basquiat's horn players. We had the bebop movement of jazz in the 1940s. There's a cut-off ear that represents Charlie Parker being cut off in his prime, mirroring Van Gogh. Ornithology is a track recorded by Parker and Dizzy Gillespie. Expressive theories is a method of art criticism that attempts to discern personal elements in works of art as opposed to formal strategies or cultural influences. So who made it and who is he or she? It's an artist-centered approach to evaluating art. So you look for personal meanings, deep psychological insight, or human concern, psychoanalysis, and gender studies. And the Pietà is painted in Titian's last year of life, and it's a somber reflection of mortality. With simultaneous contrasts in expressive theories, it is compared to the artist's ebullient personality, and the color palette recalls bright folk costumes of the native Ukraine of the artist. Expressive theories in regards to Basquiat's horn players. It's like a 3-verse song. Artist's history as an African American comes into play. The intent and intense personality of the artist. Sonia Delaunay-Turk. She was an innovator in art and fashion. She was a twofold pioneer. She participated in modern art innovations and took them into the fashion world, so her paintings informed her work in fabric design and fashion. She and her husband explored radical juxtapositions of color, and the style is simultaneism. It was intended to evoke speed and vividness of modern urban life. What makes great art? How to become a masterpiece, the key ingredients, some degree of innovation, important contextual meanings, a recognizable personal statement. The cash value correlates poorly with the importance or quality of an artwork. The art market can only tell what a certain group of collectors wants to pay for a given work at a given time. This is a record-holding painting of $450.3 million for a portrait of Christ by Leonardo da Vinci. So dollar values only loosely correlate with the historical importance or innovation of a work. Self-examination can uncover why a viewer values a work as great, why we relate to art in the context of the 3 art criticism theories. Methods to write about art. Number 1, you get the facts about the work, which is the easiest to do. You need to include the name of a creator, title, date, subject, medium, size, and the location of the work. If it's a reproduction, you clarify the original, medium, and size. Number 2, to write about art, you have to analyze. You look at the parts of a work and how they fit together. You look at the formal elements and its style, context, and artist input, and how was it received when it was created. The third method to write about art is evaluation. So you have to assess the quality or importance of the work in relation to art criticism technique. Is it innovative? Does it affect your feelings? Does it reflect the time period or personality of the artist? Is it beautiful or challenging to the eye? Censorship, the ultimate evaluation. Censorship is the alteration or removal of works from art from public view. It's usually carried out for religious, moral, or political reasons. The artist's freedom takes backseat to other important values. It has been practiced over history. Popes ordered loincloths to be painted over the genitals in the Sistine Chapel. Nazis confiscated modern art in 1937. Islam frowns upon or forbids the depiction of the Prophet Muhammad. Artists in the United States usually enjoy wide latitude. In 1973 Supreme Court case Miller versus California, a work may be censored only if demonstrably obscene. With Chris O'Feely's The Holy Virgin Mary, the New York City mayor tried to close the museum when it was hanging in the museum. The painting depicts the Virgin Mary painted in part using elephant dung, and it overcame censorship because elephant dung is an important art medium in certain African cultures, so wasn't considered to be anti-Christian. Evelyn Axel, Ice Cream 1. Facebook originally censored the artwork but relented. So Evelyn Axel with Ice Cream 1 on the left. Facebook originally censored it but relented because of the suggestive content. And then on the right, Judy Taylor, History of Labor in Maine. The mural was removed from a state labor department headquarters. It was censored due to political purposes, and the government owned the work, so the government decided to take it down. It had a bias towards organized labor and implied a bias against business. Bigger version. And that's all.